The property, for the values for the inheritance tax purposes for the property will be 3 times the cadastral value of the property, which is the value that appears in the local real estate tax receipt, called rateable value. That will be 3 times. If you multiply that cadastral value 3 times, that will be the value for the property by the time that happens to death. For what we call IAHUAR, like personal effects, will be taxed at 3% of the property value. And then other things like cars, shares, stocks, they will be valued at the day of the death of the person at that day. Stocks, shares, investments, yes, personal things.
And is that English investments or just Spanish investments?
Only Spanish. Your Spanish will cover everything you got in Spain, and your English will cover everything you got in England. So the idea is that every country has, you just declare the things in every country, and you declare separately what you've got outside of Spain. That's the point as well, to make it clear what Spanish will. There are other ways of avoiding the inheritance tax, but I mean, I'm not going into offshore companies because it's complicated. There is another option to avoid inheritance tax, and if you wait for 4 years and you don't have any rush, there is a statute of limitations. So after 4 years, no tax. So you haven't done anything with the title deed, you haven't done anything with inheritance tax, expires after 4 years, and then you can do all the process with no tax at all. That's another option. When that option wouldn't work? It will not work if the surviving spouse want to sell or want to rent. It will not work, because then you have to pay the taxes and change the ownership of the property into the name of the new person, the new inheritor. I mean, you can sell it any time, but the statute of limitation will be 4 years.
So if I die, my wife has she's got to survive me by 4 years?
In order not to pay taxes, yes.
So if she survives me for 4 years, there's no tax?
There's no tax, but if you are caught by the tax agency, then you have to assume charge of 25%. So you have to be careful whether you want to balance that. Yeah? The gifts are also treated as inheritance tax. I mean, even if you in Spain, donation and gifts are treated as inheritance. There's no difference. So they will be taxed as the normal inheritance tables. Well, the time for declaring the tax will be 6 months. So that will be the time, actually, time scale you've got after the person dies. So it's 6 months to declare the tax. Where the inheritance tax must be paid? It must be paid in Madrid if you are non-resident, or here if you are resident. I mean, here I mean in the locality where you live, which belongs to Malaga normally. The death certificate, how to obtain it? You will have to go to the civil registry of the town that you live in. So if you live in Benalmádena, they will have to be applied in the civil registry of Benalmádena. The NI numbers, as I mentioned before, all the inheritors must have an NI number, all of them, to do the process. Power of attorney, if you empower someone to do all the legal representation for you, because all the institutions you have to go on public organizations, they speak Spanish, they normally don't speak English. So at some point you will have to get involved someone in the process to represent you and do the representation and pay the taxes and opening the will, etc. Normally people empower the legal representative that they use when they bought the property, or someone else if they're not happy, because there are also many people not happy with the legal service.